Yo, what's good everybody? My name is Jay Fatty. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how to make a Madlib and MF Doom type beat, alright? Something super quirky with some soul and some vibes and some grooves to it. If you haven't seen my video on how to sample and Serato sample, I would recommend checking that out. The top right now, there'll be a link to it. We're going to get a whole new sample and chop it up in this one. I won't be really explaining a lot of the stuff I'm doing in Serato, so if you want to know how I'm sampling in Serato, you can check that video out. This is the song we'll be sampling today, Red Onion by Richard Holmes. Some sauce, okay? So I already know what parts I want, at least two parts that I want, so I'm going to throw in the song. And I'm going to pitch it down 2 semitones. Let me find these chops here. So we got these 2 chops. Definitely some sauce there. See how the song has some really groovy vibes? That's kind of what you want to go for, especially for some Madlib vibes. I would recommend looking up some 70s, 80s, or even 90s jazz. You can even do Brazilian jazz. That's how you're going to find a lot of really dope samples. All right, so keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, you can use this site right here called Samplette, and it allows you to add filters. So I have a jazz filter and the style of jazz I have here, and I can set time periods. So 1970 to 1990, and then every time I hit this random button, it pulls up a new track from YouTube. It just searches YouTube, all of the songs that have been uploaded on YouTube. So it's really dope. Samplette.io. I'll link it down in the description for y'all. All right, but let's record these chops in. And that's all it takes. Sometimes you could have a lot more complex sample chops, but this is all I think I'm gonna need is something very simple like this. I'm gonna zoom out and do a Control Q, and we're gonna have to actually zoom in here, do a Control Q, and it didn't get it lined up on the grid exactly, but for some of them it did. That's just gonna quantize it a little bit to the grid and get it right. All right, now we're gonna add some drums. I really like Count Cole drums. There's this one pack, Count Drums Volume 3, that has a really dope kick sound in it, the After Party kick. I'm actually gonna use After Party Kick 2 for this beat. And then the other pack that I like all the packs, but the ones that I really use, the other one is Count's Memory Bank Drum Pack 3. And this one has some dope snares, hi-hats, toms, all of that. Sorry if I sound a bit nasally. I'm a bit under the weather, so that is why I apologize. There's just really good sounds in these drum packs. I'm going in here and making sure use loop points and load regions is off, because those loop points will just sometimes make it loop and it'll just layer on top of itself and get louder over time, and it's annoying. So let's add some drums. See what kind of pattern we can come up with. Probably be some simple boom bap pattern. I'm obviously taking inspirations from a little bit of Mad Villainy, a little bit of Madlib's medicine show, but also what we're gonna do here is do some BPM changes, little ones, and that is inspired from MF Doom's Herbs and Spices. I'm going to right click on the tempo and create automation clip. It's gonna start. The first point will be what BPM we're at, and let's actually go up to like a 82. Copy that value and paste it at the end there. Now let's hear how this sounds. I have to come back to it. That's probably too quick. Let's not have it be such a drastic change. Let's have it only go up to like 70. Just like a random quick tempo change. Dope. And so I'm gonna copy that original 61 BPM value because I want it to come back to here. We're gonna have to do none. Here, get this value. There. So it just goes up to 70 real quick. That's dope. All right, so we'll bring this over and have that go again. We'll just have it go for that part. So we got to make, when it comes over here, we got to make this unique, this drum pattern, because we need to add some kind of like shaker or something. Ride also. Need to find some good shaker sound. I'm going to go in here and randomize the velocities of these drums, let them be a bit more humanized. So we'll start at the first pattern, right click, open up the piano roll, and let's do an Alt R. It's going to pull up the randomizer. If it pulls it up like this, just take off the pattern and mess with the velocity here. And you can see if we mess with the velocity knob, the velocity change down here. We can actually go through the seeds to get different variations in the velocity. We'll do something like that. Okay, and then I can hit K and it will go into the next element in that pattern, and we'll do the same thing. All right, and we're gonna go over to our other drum pattern and do the same thing for that. So what we're gonna also do is, let's go to the first pattern and we're gonna highlight all of the elements. Go over here to this drop down arrow, do set swing mix for selected 75%. What that's gonna do is if we open up one of these sounds here, go over to the wrench, underneath the time area, there's this swing mix knob, and that's gonna be up to 75% because that's what we set. What that's gonna do is when we mess with this main swing knob on the channel rack, we can mix in the swing, and it's only gonna be able to mix in up to 75%. So keep that in mind. Now we can mess with the swing here and hear how it sounds. We'll do the same thing for the other pattern. All right, now we're going to have it come back in again, but we'll have it take a little break, essentially. It'll come into this first part again. We are going to highlight this area by right-clicking on the black bar and drag, and I'm going to put on a Fruity Love filter. Over to the presets and go to Simple Low Pass. I'm going to mess with these cutoff and resonance knobs. This graph up, move the point on the graph up to the top right a little bit. And so we're going to right click on the cutoff, create automation clip, and actually also go over here to the Fruity Love filter, bring the mix knob down, right click, create automation clip. We're going to have the cutoff do something like this, and we got to bring in, right click some points in on the mix level, just like so. So FL Studio only knows for this automation to happen during this time. all these chops into the mixer, I'm going to left click and drag to highlight all of them like so in the channel rack. Go into the first empty insert, right click, channel routing, route selected channel starting from this track, or do a shift control L. Alright, now I'm going to control left click on all my drums, drag, right click, change color to, I'm going to do red. You can do whatever you want if you want to color code your elements here. I'm going to change my chops to purple. Now I'm going to highlight the drums again and route them to the drum bus, route to this track only. And let's see, should be good for right now. Let's go on the drum bus and put a RC20. I want to bring it down to vinyl 3. So you can mess with this tone knob. I brought it down to the second option here and just brought the tone to the left a little bit. And I also brought in some reverb. I'm actually going to go into the chops, put an EQ on here, and try to mess with some of that bass. Now I need to sidechain the drums to the chops. So the chops here, we're just going to highlight over it and then right click on this sidechain bus that I have here, do route to this track only. I have videos going more in depth on sidechain on my YouTube if you want to go check it out. On the drum bus, we're going to hover over this and then right click on that sidechain bus and just do sidechain to this track. So it's still getting routed to the master, but it's sidechain to the sidechain bus. And the chops are just completely routed to the sidechain bus only. And the sidechain bus is routed to the master. All right. So on the sidechain bus, we're going to throw a limiter on. Over to the compression tab, right click on sidechain and do drum bus. Bring the knee to the right and the ratio to the right, and we'll bring this threshold down to a good point. Alright, so now we're going to do a mix and master. I'm just going to control left click on all of the elements and bring them all down to 0. And then I'm going to bring the volume up quite a bit on my audio interface because I want to mix like it's loud, but it's actually quiet. So if you don't bring your volume up, it will be quiet for you. You can bring your volume up if you want, but there'll be a point where you need to turn it back down. Otherwise, it'll be too loud. I will let you know. Alright, but now that the volume's up, let's go ahead and mix. I'm just going to bring these elements up one by one. All right, so now I'm going to turn the volume down, all right? And so should you, because this is going to get pretty loud. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my take on a Madlib x MF Doom type beat. Really quirky, soulful, jazzy boom bap. If this video brought you value, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell. If you need more tutorials or more tips in FL Studio, you can check my page. I have so many videos, so many shorts that talk about all sorts of different topics. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure you stay safe out there. Much love, y'all. Peace.